Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Saturday, and I want to thank you for dropping in for another episode of From the Desk of Dr. Ron. As you can see, I'm going to chop it up again today. But before I get started, I want to give a shout out. I give a shout out every time I go live to Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And out of the 30 plus years that we have been traveling together, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to him and his family. Well, if you're brand new here, you don't understand that I do this every time I go live because of the importance of acknowledging and understanding the value of a mentor, someone that can help you navigate life through all of the turmoil, situations, circumstances that life can offer. So, having a mentor is very valuable. And I do it in the first couple of minutes of the broadcast because sometimes people don't stay till the end. So now you got the first message that you can get. So I encourage you to stick around because I got some more messages to give to you in this broadcast. So the first thing I want to do is say, get a mentor. And then I want to encourage you to get a show so you can shout your mentor out. Okay? Right quick, I want to invite you guys to join me this Tuesday on my show, the Ask Dr. Ron show. On that show, we will have a guest, Osei Hutchinson. He has been on the show many times before, but he always brings us some positive information of his travels. This man travels all the time. So we get reports from him from all over the world, okay, literally. So this Tuesday, you don't want to miss. Osei will be back on the show, giving us an update on what's going on in his world. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to issue a warning, and I hope people understand that, we got some crazy things going on in the country today. This week we had the unfortunate pleasure of listening to, I call him the orange-haired orangutan. I wish I could take credit for making that up, but I can't. Somebody else said it, and I just borrowed it. But the orange-haired orangutan, during the process of giving his, promo, whatever he was doing, rah, 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 bullshit, information session. And he used the word that we, the megas, are going to be fighting against wokeness. So I felt encouraged to talk to you about being woke is not a crime yet. Now, I know people may not understand the definition of woke, so let me give you some definitions of the word woke. Woke is an alertness to racial prejudice and discrimination. Woke means know your history, being black, brown, colored, African American, even red man. There are people that are under attack because of their skin color. The brown skinned people, excuse me, the folks that have come to this country to prosper, to be able to build a better life for their family, just like most of the Europeans did back in the early days. They came here to build a better life for their family, and yet they were received, and because they were received and became a part of this thing called the United States of America, but now they have elevated to a position of they think that they have power over everything. But there were people that were living in this country before they got here. The indigenous people of this country were black, they were red, they were brown, they had many skin colors, but yet they lived here in peace. They lived here and they welcomed the Europeans when they got here. So I just had to throw that little tidbit of history in there. But I also want people to understand that being woke means that we're aware of the racial prejudices that the Europeans have against us because they're afraid. We're aware of the discriminations that they have against us because they're afraid. The Europeans wiped out all the indigenous people of this country. There are not many tribes left or any of the people that were on this continent when they got here. They saw fit to call them savages and they wanted to convert them into their way of life and destroy them. Literally, when you trust Europeans, you can be sure that they got a knife in one hand to stab you in your back. So Europeans, and not all Europeans, there are some that understand our way of life and they understand that, hey, we didn't do nothing to them, but for them to be afraid, that's their own fear. They feed their own fear any kind of way they can. And it reminds me of, in history, when Hitler rose up and created a campaign to go against the Jews. The Jews were just regular people, poor people of that country that Hitler, trying to establish a purity of the race, so he said, began a campaign against them, very similar to what Trump is doing right now against the migrants. They're saying that they'll bring fentanyl into this country. Well, they have yet to prove that fentanyl is coming into this country from Canada or from Mexico or from China. I think we had a more heroin problem being shipped in from China than anything else, but fentanyl is now the biggest problem that they say we have. Well, let me tell you why that's a lie. Because first of all, if you're a drug dealer, don't ask me how I know this, but if you're a drug dealer and you're putting fentanyl on your drugs, your customers are going to die. To touch fentanyl is so dangerous, it will kill you instantly. So what drug dealer would want to kill off his customers by putting poison on his drugs? It makes no sense. Okay? So people that have, common sense, you understand that if you kill your customers, you won't have any customers. So to say that the Colombians and the drug lords are coming here and they're bringing in fentanyl to kill Americans, well, you also have the choice of not doing them. How about that? Common sense says if there's a drug out here that will kill you, don't do it. Like crack. If you're putting fentanyl on crack, why do it? Because you have an opportunity of killing yourself the very first time you try it. If you are using street drugs like heroin and it's got fentanyl in it, you're gonna die. I remember a few years ago there was an outbreak on the west side of Chicago. All within a 2-block radius, there was about a dozen people that wound up dead because they went to the same drug dealer who had put fentanyl on his drugs, cut it with fentanyl, thinking it's gonna make it stronger, and killed them. That's 12 customers that he don't have anymore. Okay? So I don't buy into this concept that they're bringing fentanyl in from these countries like Canada, China, Mexico to kill Americans. Well, how many Americans are using drugs to kill themselves? It makes no sense. So that's just another lie, that's being told because it doesn't make sense. We don't have very many deaths from fentanyl. We don't have very many. Okay? Where are the numbers? Where are the bodies? We had more bodies from COVID than we have from fentanyl deaths. So he just makes up something to make an excuse to say we need to stop these people from coming over here and bringing fentanyl. Think about it, people. All right. When the Germans began to attack the Jews, they used the same format and formula that Trump is using and the megas are using to get rid of the workers that come here that are seasonal and the people that are coming here to try and make better lives for themselves. These people are trying to come work in our fields, work in our farms, and harvest our fruits and vegetables so that we can have them on our tables that were grown in the US of A. Okay? So that makes no sense. In history, we also know that the Germans began the process of burning the books to eliminate the history of anything that was not of pure blood, so they say. The megas want to burn our history to the ground to make us unaware. A people that is aware of their history and have pride in their history are much more powerful people. I'm going to say that again. People that are aware of their history and proud of their history, aware of their history, are much more powerful people. Okay, just keep that in mind. So if they begin to tell you that that Christopher Columbus discovered America, that's a lie from the pit of hell. There were people living here when they got it. And they've been teaching us that lie for 100 years. Okay? They wanted the Italians to be able to have pride and Christopher Columbus. So they put it in our school books. And they make us repeat it over and over and over, give us a test, and fail us if we don't know what Christopher Columbus' name is. Okay? But we understand that Europeans, the rulers over us, control what they teach us and want our children to know. Now, this is why I encourage our parents to teach your young people about the most powerful people on the planet. That's black people. That's brown-skinned people. That's African Americans. That's colored people, whatever you go by this week. When you look in the mirror, you should see black pride. I remember there was a song that James Brown created back in the days. He wrote this song, I'm Black and I'm Proud. If you don't play that song in your house, you're missing out on the opportunity to understand how to encourage. Our music encourages us. I remember during the 60s and 70s playing that, watching the protests. I'm black and I'm proud. Black people marched down the streets in order to be able to get civil rights that you enjoy to this day. That should be a part of your history. How they sicked the dogs on your ancestors, people of color, brown-skinned people, African American. They put garden hose on them. They beat them. They put them in jail for no reason, just because of their skin color. That is discrimination and racial prejudice, okay? And megas are afraid of you being woke, okay? The word woke is not a crime yet, but they're working on it. They're trying to make a criminal element out of the word woke. Woke is not a criminal activity. Woke is an understanding, and it should be an understanding. The megas are afraid because the Europeans have always been evil and done evil and are very brutal people. And they're afraid that they're going to get what they got coming. Yeah, that's it. That's their fear. They're afraid that somebody is going to teach them the lesson that they should be taught. And because they got money, some people can avoid it. But guess what? Woke is not a crime yet, but they're working on it. You know, we should always be aware of our history. And some of the things that I spoke about today, if you don't believe it, go look it up. I know some folks will sit up there, oh, no, that didn't happen. They didn't sick the dogs on nobody. They didn't beat them. They didn't put them in jail. because of their skin color. Even today in 2025, there's a crime called driving while black. You can ride through certain neighborhoods and certain people that are police officers will pull you over and ask you, you don't live here, why are you here? And they'll make a criminal activity out of you riding through a neighborhood. You might just be riding through a neighborhood to be able to encourage your family, like, we can live here someday. We can work hard and get a house in this community, even though they don't want you there, but you can work towards that. It's called inspiration. So I encourage you, don't let woke be a crime in your house. Understand, be careful, gather together, form groups of people that can motivate you to elevate you to a consciousness that will keep you more powerful than by trying to tell you that you gotta be this and you gotta be that less than. Okay? I was thinking on this week how people were putting on social media the idea that all of these black jobs are now available because they've been putting out of the country. ICE has been putting out Colombians and people from South America. They've been rounding them up and sending them out. So now the fields got fruits and vegetables in them that don't nobody want to go pull, because that's not something that we want to do. We started out picking cotton for the Europeans, and we have yet to get paid for it. I'm going to say that again. We started out picking cotton for Europeans that we have yet to receive compensation for. Think about that. That's history too. That's being woke. Understanding that if we go back in those fields, we might not never get out of them again, because they're going to keep us there as long as they can. Now, I'm ranting and raving and going on and on and on talking about wokeness, but I want you to do some homework. Teach your children, teach yourselves about wokeness. Understand what they're afraid of. Understand the history in which we have such a powerful history. We are descendants of kings and queens from the continent of Africa. Do some research. Understand that Europeans are afraid of our history because we are descendants of royalty. Now I'm going to say something today that I got a statement. I talk about Dr. Hunt at the top of every show, and he left us with a statement that I think is very encouraging, and I want to talk about it a little bit. It says, people of God are supposed to be woke. I'm going to say that again. Now, this is a quote from Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt said, the people of God are supposed to be woke. So if you understand that, if you are in a relationship with the Creator, our Father, then our Father is going to give us information to keep us woke. And we're supposed to share that information to make people woke. The woke movement should not die because the megas are afraid. What they're afraid of is not our problem. Okay? So don't let it be your problem. Now, there's a lot of people out there, blacks for Trump. They say, "Ooh, I ain't never had so much fun in my life since Trump then took over and the megas is in charge." Well, you're right. Now, you paying damn near $5 an egg. You ain't never had that problem before, but yet you so happy. Keep on being happy. People are going out now, resorting back to the old days where they got chickens in their backyard so they can get eggs. Okay? So we are going backwards in time. Unfortunately, we're going backwards in time. So if you got some books, I'm going to encourage you. If you got some history books, if you've got some knowledge of history, put it on the cloud somewhere where they can't get it. Because eventually what's going to happen, they're going to have mass book burning. where they're going to try and destroy our knowledge and all of our history. You know, the president in the beginning of February said, well, we were not going to celebrate black history, but yet then he brought a group of black folks to the White House to have a so-called celebration of black history. I don't know what it was about. Nobody's talked about it. So I don't know how great of a celebration it was. But he did put on a nice little front. He probably paid them all a nice little pretty penny to show up. So they made some money. I ain't mad at them. But at the end of the day, that was not a celebration of black history. So that being said, I want to invite you guys to join me each and every Tuesday right here on this network, every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, when we have a guest and we interview great people in our community. I want to invite you all to go over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, please support all of my advertisers. Here's a list of a few. On any flyer, any banner, any thing that's listed on my website will take you to the sponsor's website. You can look at their products, goods, and services that they offer. Go over there and support what they are doing. Without them, I would not be able to do what I do. I want to invite you guys to join me each and every Wednesday at 12 noon, where we do the Street News Now Noon Report, where we keep you informed on what's going on in the world. Okay, we talk about a lot of things locally and nationally on Street News Now, so please join us each and every Wednesday. Also want to encourage you to come back each and every Saturday from the desk of Dr. Ron, where I get an opportunity to tell you what's going on in my world each and every week and what's on my heart. So please join me each and every Saturday. And we're going to be bringing back, because I understand the importance, even though February is over with, we still going to do our Black History Moment each and every Sunday. We want to talk about 365 days out of the year, the history, our history. They're not going to destroy it, because I'm going to keep talking about it and put it on the cloud so people can go download it at any given time. Each and every Sunday evening, we're going to get back into doing that show. I want to thank all those that have made contributions up to this point in time. Thank you so very much. These are all the ways that you can make contributions to the show. Please do so. Take note. Make a copy of it. Send some money in. Thank those that have. While you're here, please click on the subscribe, like button. Let me know that you stopped in. I did a show a couple of weeks ago when I talked about the flu is real, and it is real, you all. I was sick, and I just want you to know to be careful. Wear your mask. Don't get out there. Don't go outside, as the kids say. Stay away from outside. Stay away from people when they start coughing. Get away from them. So people call me to check on me from that, and I thank you all for doing so. So please, please, please be careful, you all. I love you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Don't forget, we're going to have a great show on Tuesday. I love you all. Stay blessed, stay encouraged, and just stay woke, y'all. Be careful out there, because driving while black is a real crime. And if it ain't hit you yet, it will. Just keep driving.